Doctors are encouraging all of us to make positive changes that can lower our risk of heart attacks or strokes.
Yeah, remember we all wore red in the beginning of the month for Go Red for Women Day? Diet and exercise are the two biggest things to look out for, but Tracey McCain has a prevention tip that a lot of us seem to forget about, including one local mom. Hey, Trace, how you doing?
Good to see you.
Thanks
Do you guys know your family history? Everything?
Yes, actually.
For the most part, I do.
Okay.
Knock wood, heart attacks are not in the family.
Okay, that's good.
In the genetics.
Right.
Thank goodness gracious.
Well, because that's something that you can trace.
Right.
You know, if you have a history of heart attacks in your family or deaths from heart disease or complications, that's something you're going to want to tell your doctor. I just talked to a Connecticut mom this week who had an emergency C-section and an open heart surgery on the same day.
Stop it.
Same day, minutes apart, literally.
Did they know that she was having heart problems?
So she flagged them because her grandfather had just passed away from a heart attack. He had Marfan syndrome. So they tested her, and she genetically has it too. That's when they decided, okay, we've got to take some precautionary measures, but they didn't even make it to that point. They had to act right away.
Did she have preeclampsia or anything like that?
No. So Marfan syndrome is a tissue connectivity disorder. So any type of stress on your body is affected. So if you're putting stress on your heart, which, you know, pregnancy impacts everything, right?
Absolutely.
Uncovers those underlying issues that you're having. And so she was having some underlying problems that she didn't know about until she was pregnant with her child. And then all of a sudden, yeah. So she couldn't, you know, stress on the heart is bad when you're doing anything, but especially in labor.
When you're in labor.
I can't even imagine. Your body's going through a traumatic experience. I mean, birth is beautiful, but it's also a trauma on our bodies.
Well, she could have died. She could have died. Her heart, she could have had an aneurysm, or it could have ruptured, I should say.
Oh my gosh.
So she successfully had the C-section. She didn't even get to say hi to her baby. They wheeled her right out. So her warning to everyone is to know your family history.
Yeah, it's so important. And a lot of people don't talk about their family history. You know,
a lot of people don't know their family history.
It's, you know, when you think of, you know, great grandma so-and-so, like, no one knows what happened, you know, she didn't talk about it, you know, there's a lot of stuff brushed under the rug, so
and
it's
Marfan
important.
syndrome, I've never heard of it before.
Yeah, I've never heard of it either.
Exactly. So, you know, the more we talk about these things, the more we can help other people not only survive, but live healthy.
Absolutely.
What's it like telling stories like
Goodness. It's incredible to me because something is always uncovered that I didn't know, and there's always something that I can connect to as well, especially when we're doing stories about, you know, childbirth, Alzheimer's disease, which is something that, you know, runs in my family, and anytime that there's, you know, a woman or a man who comes out of, you know, tragedy, you know, and says, you know, I made it through. That's incredibly heartwarming, and, you know, I'm going to cry because this woman could have died. I talked to people who could have died, and they were like, I made it. I made it.
Right. Yeah. And now they're here. Yeah, telling their story with you.
It's pretty incredible. That's a great question, Scott. You should do this for full time.
It's like he's had experience for 55
Where'd you
years.
come up with that one?
yeah, the producer wrote the question right here.
That's a good one.
I just did a story, UConn, Susan Daddario. She was on the floor dead. Her husband came in, had to do CPR on her, saved her life, and then brought her to UConn where they continued to save her life. This is, it's time to pay attention to your heart, and especially women out there. Moms, if you're not, if you're neglecting your health, now is the time to step forward and start doing something.
That's what our Mommy Monday was all about, you know? It's about, we have to fill our cup before we fill everyone else's. We feel like we're being selfish when we think that way, but we're not, right?
We need you.
One more staggering fact here, 20% of heart disease is genetic, 80% is preventable.
Wow, that's good to know.
Diet and exercise.
Really?
Yep.
Thank you, Trace.
Take that to break.
That's awesome. You can see Tracey's story tomorrow night on Channel 3 right here. Make sure to check it out. It's so important. And fill your cup, mamas. We need you.
What's it like to do a